to welcome my mom, a well-known in Montreal and internationally for her business success and philanthropy. I admire her mostly for being the greatest mother to my siblings and I, and the greatest bubby, and the greatest elder bubby. Elder bubby in English means great-grandmother. And as her sons-in-laws and daughter-in-laws would say, the greatest figure, which is a mother-in-law. And not everybody has the greatest mother-in-law. But my siblings-in-laws and my husband has the greatest mother-in-law. Mrs. Gniwisch, please come up. Good evening, ladies. Really a pleasure to be here tonight. This is my second home. And of course, like you, I couldn't say no to Vina. I was asked to speak tonight to tell you a little bit about being myself in business and juggling duties. But before I start, I want you to know that everything in life is hashgacha pratis. It's divine providence. We have very little control about what we do and how we end up, our destiny. Everything is in Hashem's hands, and we are better for it, because He probably knows better for us what we need than we do, for sure. So, what is being yourself? Everything has a beginning. No one is born in a vacuum. I'll tell you a little bit about my life. I was born in Europe, in Hungary, during World War II, during the Holocaust. My parents come from very illustrious ancestors, and we grew up in a very happy and loving home. Before I was born, in 1942, my father was taken to the Russian front. He was a young and healthy man, and so the Germans took all the young people and they put them to work in a labor camp, building bridges and railroad tracks. My mother was pregnant, and she gave birth to me during the time. My father didn't even know that I was born. My mother and her family escaped to the Carpathian Mountains in Czechoslovakia, and we lived in a cave, literally in a cave, until after the war. I learned how to be very quiet, because some of my family members, some of people that my mother and her sisters were with, said that if I cry, they're going to leave me there. Fortunately, after the war, my parents reconnected. I was at the time 3 years old. That's when my father saw me for the first time. We lived in Hungary, then we moved to France. My father was a furrier by trade, and we were supposed to go to Israel. That's where they sent all of our things. But then my father met somebody while we were in France en route to Israel, and they said, "Why are you going to Israel? Who's going to buy fur coats in Israel? You have to go to Canada. In Canada, it's cold, and we sell a lot of fur coats." How right they were. It is cold. So in 1950, my brother, sister, my parents, and I, we emigrated to Canada. We arrived in Halifax on a Friday morning, and they were going to put us on a train to Montreal. But my father said, no, he can't go, it's Erev Shabbat, and by the time we arrive, it'll be Shabbos, and he doesn't travel on Shabbos. So we stayed in a hotel near the train station in Halifax and came to Montreal on Sunday. I grew up here and went to public school. I went to public school because there were no Jewish schools at the time, and I was the only religious girl in my class, but everybody knew that, and I had the most respect from the teachers and from my students, from my friends. I'm still very, very friendly with all of the children, all the kids that I graduated with, and we still have reunions every couple of years. So that was it. After graduating high school and teachers college, I met my wonderful husband. We got married, I was 18 years old, and we started our family. My professional life started as a preschool teacher. I loved little kids. I loved working with them. It lasted for 5 years, after which I retired and started my own kindergarten. I have, Baruch Hashem, 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls, and they're the love of my life. I wanted to do something after they grew up, but I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. And so, Hashgacha Pratis, divine providence, as I told you before, came along. It was the summer of 1980. My 4 older kids were in camp that summer, and I had Dina and my other son, Penny. They were 5 and 7. And we decided that we would go to California to visit my oldest daughter, who was at the time in camp there. And we made a little vacation out of it. We arrived Thursday, and so Friday morning I went to the kosher store to buy stuff for Shabbat. I'm standing in line, paying for the stuff that I bought, and someone taps me on the shoulder. I looked around. It was a friend that I had grown up with in Montreal. He lived on a block away from me. I hadn't seen him in 25 years. And we were so happy to see each other. We reminisced about our old days. And then he said, "You must come to me for Shabbat. Forget about all this stuff. You'll come to me for Shabbat." And so, Shabbos lunch, we went to shul, and on the way back from shul, we stopped in their house for lunch. His wife was really, really happy to see us, and I was happy to see him and his 6 children, and it was a very lovely lunch. My husband, during the meal, had asked him, "So what are you doing for a living? What, you know?" And he said that he's selling cubic zirconia, which is little fake diamonds, and things were really, really good for a while, but in the last couple of months, things took a downturn, and he said, "I think I'm going to go bankrupt. I hope they don't take my house." My husband felt really, really terrible, you know, like after wonderful lunch to hear that. So he said, "After Shabbat, let's go down to your office. Let me look at your books." My husband is a brilliant business person, and he can look at a ledger. To me, it looks like lined paper, but he could look at a ledger and he could tell you if it's good, not good, will be good, won't be good, you know. So that's what we did. We went down to his office and he looked at his books and he said, "Zev, it's not good. You're not going to make it. So here's what you have to do." And he gave him a bunch of things, what he has to do, that he shouldn't lose his house. And the next day, my husband opened up a company under our name for him to buy and sell goods. We lent him the money, and we really didn't want anything. We had no interest in making any money from the deal. We really just wanted to help him. And so we gave him the money, he bought the goods, he sold them, he paid us, and for a few months it was wonderful. He was making a living, my husband was doing a mitzvah, and we were all very happy. And then all of a sudden, after 6 months, it stopped. Money didn't come, there was an excuse, this happened, that happened. And so we we didn't have a lot of money, but whatever we had put away to help him with was finished. So my husband flew down to California, and he wanted to check out what's happening. And so he came there, he saw that the office was bigger, he had staff, he had a bigger car, And so that's where our money went to. And he's still friends with him, but he said, you know what? This is it. It's not going to work. You know what? Instead of paying me for the goods that I bought, give me the goods. And you do what you can do, and let's part as friends. And so he sent me the goods to Montreal, and voila, I was in the jewelry business. So I would never have imagined ever to start a jewelry business on my own. Like, where would that come from? Like, from where? My husband was printing stuff, pantyhose packaging. I mean, like, you know. But you see, Hashem takes you by the hand and he says, here, this is what you have to do. And I have to tell you, I loved every minute of it. I didn't realize how creative I was and how good I was at designing stuff. It just suddenly started to pour out of me. And I enjoyed so much the business. We had a lot of ups and downs. I went to Asia many times. We went into many different parts of our business. I was young, I was full of spunk, and I did not let no get in my way. I was passionate about the business I was starting. And it's very interesting. After I had been in business for a while and started to build it up, my husband sold his printing business and he came into business with me. Because, like I said, I don't know what a spreadsheet is. I don't know about money except how to spend it. And if you want to have a good business, it's not always the best thing to do. So I needed someone to come and run the business part, because I was the creative part and I was the people's part, and I could sell the Brooklyn Bridge and people would buy it for me with a smile. And that's what I love most. I love people, I love working with people. People come up to my office, you know that it's a pleasure for me. And so he came into the business with me, and after that, after my boys finished yeshiva and they all became rabbis, they all started an offshoot of our business, and they went into the internet part of the business. So you could just see a small little hashgacha protis, a small little thing that Hashem puts in front of you. Look how far it can go if you allow the Eibishter to be part of it. The cornerstone of our business was always four things. It was honesty, and in the jewelry business, boy, that's like one of the first things you have to do. Charity. Most of you know, no one ever walks into my office without getting something. Reliability. If you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, say you can't do it. But don't promise and then not deliver. And then, of course, respect. We have to respect everyone, and you will get respect. So what is my message to you tonight? My message to you is that although I have seen Hashem's hands, God's hands in our business success, it never defined me as a person. I always know that I, as an individual, am defined by my love for and responsibility to my family, my husband, my beautiful 6 children, my 45 grandchildren, and my over 50 great-grandchildren. They are at the center of my life. And because of that, many have chosen to stay in Montreal and work together with us as well. My responsibilities to my community is not just writing a check. We do that too, but we have an open house. whether it's a place to stay, a meal, advice, or just a hug, or a nice smile. I always try to be there for our immediate community, for our Montreal community, Chabad around the world, and of course, Israel. What I believe and feel is I invest time to pray, study, and grow in all ways. I always look to be inspired and hopefully inspire others as well. And I hope I will inspire some of you tonight. These are not in any way a distraction from being successful in business or career. It's actually my biggest motivation to work hard and succeed so that I can share more and be there more for the important things in life. I pray that all of us here should be blessed with total goodness, and we should see the ultimate goodness in the coming of Mashiach soon. Thank you.